Hello, my name is Shamari Vanderhorst, and today for Sociology Today, we will be discussing social classes. So, firstly, what is social class? The systematic division of people or households into discrete tiers according to social status, mainly wealth, income, education, occupation, and social prestige, is referred to as social class. So, social class divisions are in three classes: upper class, middle class, and lower class. Upper class involves the rich and wealthy. Middle class is between rich and poor, and lower class is poor working class citizens. Financial earnings, schooling, and professional standings are three major pillars that are commonly used to measure social class and socioeconomical status. These factors work together to define a person's or household's status, social status, and access to resources or opportunities. So, what does it mean to be upper class? The socioeconomical group with the highest standing, power, and riches in society is referred to as the upper class. This group, which derives its principal income from capital and corporate assets rather than wages, usually constitutes the top 1 to 5% of households in the United States based on net worth, according to Yahoo Finance. Next, we have middle class. The middle class is a socio-economical group that lies between the high-income elite and the working lower class. Historically determined by profession, levels of education, and earnings, it typically refers to households that make between two-thirds and twice the national average income. People in middle class can usually afford modest emergency money, retirement savings, occasional holidays, and meeting their fundamental requirements like food, housing, healthcare, and childcare. Middle class communities usually have some degree or higher of education and work in specialized trades, managerial roles, or white collar employment. Common middle class jobs include nursing, human resources or office positions, and social work or government jobs. So what is lower class? People at the bottom of the socioeconomical ladder are referred to as members of the lower class, which is frequently widely defined as low income. It usually consists of people working manual labor and service jobs that are readily filled, low paying, as well as households that are dependent on government assistance. A quick thing to note is that government assistance isn't something that is necessarily only used in lower income households. It's something that a lot of the 1% to 5% can use, such as bankruptcy, to help them manage their money or to get back on their feet. So it is not something that only people who have lower income jobs get. It is something that most people have access to. And a lot of times, people who are in lower income households don't have the resource of government assistance because when they make over a certain amount of money, even if they can't afford food, they still can't get things like food stamps that will help them provide for their family. Or even if they don't make enough to pay their rent, they still can't get government housing because they make too much. And even if that's a small amount over what is needed, it's still the basis of the decision from the government. So there's no way to fight that. Conditions of being lower class may include routine, hands-on blue-collar service jobs such as retail, construction, food service, and custodial work, lack of educational opportunities or resources, lack of healthcare, physically demanding labor-focused jobs, and lack of access to mental health necessities. So for my personal social classing rank, I grew up lower middle class. I have gotten promoted to being a little bit more into maybe middle class As I grew up and my mom was able to secure better opportunities, like moving up in the ranks in terms of education. Whenever I was in elementary school, my mom had not graduated college. By the time I graduated high school, my mom finished her degree and she moved on to get her master's while I started college. And so that helped me be able to depend on her more and her be able to provide more for our family. Things that I got access to as being a middle class citizen is access to higher education. So I am in a master's program currently. More job opportunities. There are job opportunities that I have because I have a bachelor's degree that some people aren't able to get because they don't have the education that I do. And it's not necessarily something that means that it's a shortcoming of their background. It's typically because sometimes we are offered certain resources and opportunities based off of where we grew up or how we grew up, what our social status is, which this presentation is about. I also have better access to healthcare and mental health help, and insurance that some people don't get that privilege. And extracurricular interests and activities such as Pilates or yoga, I'm able to spend like an extra $100 a month on doing extracurricular things that sometimes people are not able to spend extra money because they have to provide for their families or they have to do things like pay their bills before they include their interests. So, how does social class impact life and family dynamics? Compared to upper class, poorer communities routinely experience worse physical conditions, reduced life expectancy, and lower qualities of life. And lastly, because of social standing and how it affects household resources or levels of stress and anxiety, it has a significant impact on family life. Socioeconomical status influences how families operate, interact, and manages their family in a variety of ways, such as parental practices and educational decisions.